Good evening. We'll call the meeting back to order, and I'll ask the clerk for a roll call, please. Madam Clerk?
Ms. Hodges, absent. Mr. Mills?
Here.
Mr. Oden?
Here.
Ms. Welch Spurgeon?
Here.
Mr. Mayor?
Here. If you'll all please rise for the flag salute. If you'll place over your heart and join with me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our invocation tonight is Pastor Kevin Johnson from Bloom in the Desert Ministries. Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to see you here tonight.
It's good to be here. And so, in the manner to which you are accustomed, let us join our minds, our hearts, and our lives together in prayer. Wonderful God, from this City Council chamber, a special place set aside for good work in our community, we pray that you enable all of us that we may do your will with your gift of life. Since we are made for the mighty deep, enable us so we do not fritter away our energy splashing in the shallows near the shore. Since we are endowed with minds capable of vast imaginings, enable us so we do not become dull and predictable. Since we are capable of love, enable us to act in love so we do not find ourselves with few acquaintances and still fewer friends. And since we are blessed with soul enough to commune with you, make sure that we are not content to lavish our affections on the passing fancies of the world. Increase our guidance and gratitude for life itself, and help us henceforth to live it more nearly to the full. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Before we go forward, I'd like to note there was an article in this week's paper about the passing of one of our local residents, a Medal of Honor recipient, Colonel Mitchell Page, who passed away last Saturday. Services will be held in his honor on Sunday in Riverside Memorial, and I would ask for a brief moment of silence to remember this great American hero. God bless you, Colonel Page. We'll miss you. Tonight we have a number of presentations. I would ask that perhaps Don DeVore and Commissioner Mike McCullough would come down to the podium while I read almost simultaneously these two pieces. These two individuals have been members of our boards and commissions, although on different commissions and serving in different capacities. The time has come to say goodbye to them, and we thought we would do so in a formal sense. So I will read the beginning of the commendation, and then at the end of it we'll actually recognize each of you. This is from the City Council of the City of Palm Springs, California, for dedicated and untiring efforts in the service to the City of Palm Springs. Whereas the success of city government in a community depends upon the continual active involvement of its citizens in providing input to the decision-making process, and whereas the City of Palm Springs has been fortunate in having citizens who are dedicated to the betterment of the community and who are willing to spend the many hours needed to study the problems facing the city to develop sound alternatives. Now, therefore, in recognition of her service to the Administrative Appeals Board from 1998 to the year 2003, the City Council of the City of Palm Springs does hereby commend Don DeVore for her contributions to the enhancements of the City of Palm Springs. And additionally, now, therefore, in recognition for his service on the Human Rights Commission from 2000 to 2003, the City Council of the City of Palm Springs does hereby commend Michael R. McCullough for his contributions, again, to the enhancements of the great City of Palm Springs. Ladies and gentlemen, two of our best members of our boards and commissions.
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Always nice.
He's starting already.
Additionally, there has been a request, and I rarely deny this individual because of the importance this man has played in the city of Palm Springs, let alone in the, dare I say, culture of America. We have a young man who has done work for the city of Palm Springs as a volunteer and has changed the lives of many young children in our city. And I would ask that Mr. Mike Allen come down, and we recognize him as the official Palm Springs Santa in a formal ceremony. Mr. Mike Allen, Santa as we know him in Palm Springs. Michael has received proclamations, I think, for quite some time because of his incredible commitment to the city of Palm Springs. And he had requested that perhaps I could fluff his for the upcoming year because it's time to renew our commitment to him. By and by, I need not tell you who Santa Claus is, but I would like to give you an idea of who this gentleman is. There is not an organization, nor an activity, nor an event whereby Michael will not show up when the call is for Santa. He has outfits, dare I say, costumes for winter and for summer. If you have not seen Santa in shorts, you are missing something that's quite impressive. I myself was amazed that Santa had shorts, Mike. I never knew that when I first saw you.
I wear them a lot.
But Michael is very active in the community, has been involved with the Chamber of Commerce, he's been involved with the Senior Center, he has worked for and does work virtually anywhere, and not just as Santa. So I thought perhaps I could allow him the privilege of receiving his commendation, and I'll go to the last piece, which basically says, whereas Michael Allen, now brace yourself, Michael Allen has been our city's perfect Santa for 35 years and will again be our official Palm Springs Santa for this joyous season. Now, therefore, I, William G. Kleindienst, Mayor of the City of Palm Springs, on a very short timeline, does now hereby proclaim Mike Allen to be the official Palm Springs Santa yet again.
And you know, Santa doesn't forget all his big kids and the little kids that are sitting over here. So I think at this time, it's a little early, and don't eat this until you get home, because it's pretty powerful stuff. I have a couple of things for you.
Well,
You can't take the help.
you know, go figure. You know, I just said to Michael, I'm surprised. No costumes, no elves, no Santa's helpers. Dare I say I spoke too soon, huh?
Thank you so much.
Michael, thank you for all your work. Ladies and gentlemen, the official Palm Springs Santa. And I can't confirm this, but I think he has been sighted in December at the official Palm Springs Festival of Lights parade. I won't tell you where he is, but he's somewhere in the parade. Michael, congratulations, sir. We'll now turn for some additional presentations. Is the Desert AIDS Project scheduled for tonight? Is that still on? Oh, good. John Brown. Mr. Brown, if you'll come down, the floor is yours, sir. Tough to follow Santa, big guy. Good luck. Did you bring us candy?
I brought you something. On behalf of the Desert AIDS Project, our board of directors, our staff, our volunteers, and most importantly, our 2,000 clients, I extend our complete gratitude and appreciation to Councilmember Dana Hodges, Councilmember Jeannie Reller-Spurgeon, and Mayor Will Kleindienst. Councilmember Dana Hodges, you were there for us in the very beginning. You worked with the grassroots leaders who first began the effort to serve those with HIV/AIDS, both through the Desert AIDS Project and the AIDS Assistance Program. You have continued to consistently demonstrate your concern and compassion throughout your tenure on the council. We look forward to working with you in new ways for many more years. Councilmember Jeannie Reller-Spurgeon, your commitment to those living with HIV/AIDS extends beyond your leadership on the City Council. It extends beyond your profession in healthcare. It is clearly personal. In years when it was almost impossible to get flu vaccine in time to help our medically fragile clients, You miraculously found hundreds of doses free of charge for the Desert AIDS Project. Then you came to the DAP and gave each of those injections yourself. Your selfless actions saved lives. That, along with your strong support for us on the council, is deserving of our complete gratitude. Mayor Will Kleindienst, during your leadership as mayor, the City Council approved nearly $1 million of funding for the Desert AIDS Project and the people we serve. You also made yourself available whenever and however needed, as an auctioneer or as an MC, as a ribbon cutter, or just to shake hands and hug our many clients who appreciated your support. You have always been there for the Desert AIDS Project. On a personal note, you and your wife, Kathy, were among the first friends that welcomed me to the desert. I have valued that friendship through some very happy and some sad times. I will continue to proudly count you as one of my finest friends. With that said, I'm proud to present each of you with a special token of DAP's appreciation. Thank you.
It's very nice, John. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you at the board and all the fine work you do at Desert AIDS Project. I'll now turn back to our city clerk for a report on the posting of tonight's agenda. Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the agenda you have before you was posted in accordance with council procedure last Friday, November the 14th. There was a supplemental agenda posted at that time concerning the surplus and sale of some city property. The council was given some revised materials for your agenda tonight. Those were faxed to the council earlier. They are also in a yellow folder in front of you. That's regarding items 18, 19, 22, and 26. In addition, the council is being given tonight in the yellow folder marked Public Hearings, an item concerning CRA-A, and that is for your public hearing. Item number 16 is being withdrawn from the agenda.
Withdrawing 16.
And also, item number 18 is being being substituted and is in your yellow folder also.
You have a
Thank you.
substitution then, so we're going to do 18, but a substitution. Thank you.
Yes, you'll substitute 18 and withdraw 16.
Very good. Thank
Thank
you. Any other changes, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Thank you. The Housing Authority, the Financing Authority, and the Industrial Development Authority have no business scheduled for tonight's meeting. Will now remain as the City Council and convene as the, I'm sorry, we'll go to closed session report with the City Attorney then.
I thought something was missing there.
So did I. It just felt a little bit empty somehow without you speaking, David.
It's smooth. It moved too quickly. Okay, the agency and the city had various closed session matters. For the agency, we had conference on real property negotiations involving Jerry Johnson, FDH Enterprises. We gave a status report. No action was taken. Also, the Santiago Sunrise Village Mobile Home Park, we gave a status report on that item and no action was taken. Concerning litigation for the agency, there is a lawsuit involving Prairie Schooner Parcel, Citizens for Local Government Accountability versus CRA. We gave a status report on that. No action was taken. The item listed for the City of Palm Springs for Desert Water Agency was not discussed. The real property negotiation involving the Catherine Finchie School site with Desert Healthcare District, we gave a status report. No action was taken. With respect to the 11 acres at McLean, Eric Herbert, we gave a status report. No action was taken. The item involving 1481 Twin Star Road was not discussed. The item involving the Visitor Information Center lease to the Agua Caliente Band, we gave a status report. No action was taken. The two items listed under litigation on El Dorado were not discussed. The item listed on Epic Capital Corporation bankruptcy matter, we gave a status report. No action was taken. The exposure to litigation in 2 cases, we discussed 1 case, no action was taken. The initiation of litigation, we did not discuss. There was, as an added starter, a litigation matter involving Remy Hormez, which is the Spanish Inn parcel. We gave a staff's report on that. No action was taken.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Alshire. Will now remain as the City Council and convene as the Community Redevelopment Agency. Members of the agency and council, we have to approve the minutes of September 17th and October 1st. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
For approval by Mr. Oden and second by Ms. Reller Spurgeon. Any comments, questions, or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 4-0 deemed unanimous. We'll then now turn to our joint public hearings. First item on our docket tonight is item A, the Vista Sunrise Apartment, MBA Development. Mr. Reddy, I'll turn to you for your staff's report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the agency. This is an amendment to the actually, we're requesting this amendment, and this will clarify terms of the agreement that we have with the county partnership for the Vista Sunrise, the Family Care Center, and the 85 units. I would note that the main reason we are doing this amendment, it will allow them in the project to find other sources of financing, which will certainly be a benefit. I would just note also that the agency retains the right of reverter, and this counts towards our low-mod housing. Mr. Raymond, the director of the department, is here to answer any specific questions you may have. Thank you.
Very good. Member of the council or agency, do you have any questions before we open the public hearing? Seeing none. In checking the request to speak, I see none here for the public hearing. Anyone in the audience wishing to address this matter, please come forward at this time. Very good. Seeing no one, we'll then close the public hearing. Let the record show no one gave testimony. And members of the agency and council, there are 2 resolutions from each of us, if you'll consider those for your action tonight.
I'll move the resolutions.
I'll second them.
Motion for approval by Ms. Reller Spurgeon and second by Mr. Oden. Any additional comments or questions? Very good. Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Rose Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye, it's 4-0. It's deemed unanimous. Item B is Santiago Sunrise Village Mobile Home Park. This is a TEFRA hearing, the 2003 Series A and B Sunrise Revenue Bonds. And again, Mr. Reddy, I'll turn to you and your staff for a report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would request John Raymond, the director of the Department of Community and Economic Development, to give the staff report on this issue. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Raymond.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. There's actually several items listed before you. The first is a DDA, a Disposition and Development Agreement with Santiago Sunrise Village Mobile Home Park Corporation, which is a California nonprofit that is seeking to acquire the Santiago Sunrise Village Mobile Home Park, which is on San Rafael, just west of Sunrise. We've been negotiating with the nonprofit for about 3 years now on the acquisition of that property, and the basic terms are that the nonprofit would acquire the agency actually owns the underlying fee interest in the land underneath the park. So we own the land under the park. We would actually allow the park to be sold to the nonprofit from the for-profit partnership that owns it, and the agency would contribute the land to the nonprofit and take a performance deed of trust in the amount of the land value to secure the affordability covenants and then the other terms of the DDA. The other action, which is a city action before you, the TEFRA hearing, is actually for the bond issue. The nonprofit will seek to issue HUD-insured mobile home park revenue bonds, and in order to finance the acquisition and rehab of the park. And so this is anytime tax-exempt bonds are issued in your municipality, you as a legislative body need to approve the TEFRA hearing or approve a public hearing granting that right. So I'd be happy to answer any specific questions you have on the DDA or the bond issue. I'd also like to note that The representatives of the nonprofit are here. They have their financial advisor as well as the chairman of the organization and their consultant. If you have any technical questions about the nonprofit itself or other deal points.
Very
That
good.
concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Raymond. Members of the agency, council, any questions before we open up this joint hearing? Seeing none, I'll turn to the audience. Anyone wishing to address the council or the agency on item B, please come forward at this time. Good. Seeing no one, I'll close the joint hearing, noting that there are no testimonies tonight. And we'll turn to the agency and the city council for action on the resolutions before us.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I will move the resolutions, the one for the agency and the two for the city.
Second.
I need a point of clarification. I want to make sure that the clerk gets this. I opened the joint hearing. Is that safe to assume that I opened both the E and B items on the agenda? So I've got to open up the specific hearing for the lower resolution then.
Right, unless you reopen the hearing for the TEFRA bonds also, and then you could take all three actions.
Okay.
Council, all right with that?
Yes.
We'll rescind those actions at this time, and we'll open up the hearing just for the city on the TEFRA bond. Anyone wishing to address the council on that item, please come forward at this time. Very good, seeing no one. Again, Madam Clerk, you'll show no one came forward at this time. We'll close the public hearing for the city. Now, members of the agency, there are the three resolutions before you. We can entertain that in one single action. What's the pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oden and second by Mr. Mills. And any further comments or questions? Seeing none, I will ask for a roll call from the clerk, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Welch Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye, it's 4-0, again deemed unanimous. Now, you've got a public comment section here and one following at City Council. Are these the same, or is this one for the joint bodies together?
No, actually, you really don't need that public comment section. That legislative item was removed, so.
All right, then we'll strike that. There are no legislative items. We'll adjourn as a CRA and remain in session as a City Council. And with the first action of the City Council, we'll turn to public comments. I have some cards before me. I'll call these in the order. If you'll all come down, I'd appreciate it. Robin Burns, followed by Sergio Santos. And we pulled item 16, would we not? Pulled 16. So Joe McCann, there's no hearing tonight. If, again, you can come down and make comments during public comments if you want. And then Thomas Van Etten, please. Good evening. Robin Burns?
Good evening. I am Robin Burns. I am a Palm Springs resident, an 8-year owner of a classy cab taxi, and the secretary-treasurer of the Coachella Valley Taxi Owners Association. First of all, thank you all council members for your service, and good luck to all of those leaving, and I hope that we're happy to work together with all the members that are staying, and best of luck. We had a recent development that was very possibly disastrous for the taxi industry in the last 2 days. For the last at least 8 years that I've had my business, I've always had a $300,000 liability requirement at the Palm Springs Airport. We were notified that we needed to raise our liability to $750,000, like the PUC requirement and other requirements at the airport. This would double our insurance, and possibly, I have to tell you, after doing a roll call with my fellow taxi company owners, it would have put a majority of us out of business. It's a depressed industry. We averted that with the landside director approving the $300,000 limit. And I would ask that the council would make a resolution that this is the same limit of liability that Sunline, who is granted joint powers authority to regulate us. And I would hope that we could get a resolution. We've gotten a reprieve for a year, is my understanding, on the insurance. We're still due to, in a year, deal with other consequences. I would hope that we could get some kind of a resolution that what the Sunline regulations are would be acceptable, since it is governed by joint powers. I'm going to put that out to you. We possibly had a very, very disastrous situation with taxi cabs not being able to afford the insurance and sitting on the street and Palm Springs Airport not having taxi cabs to pick up the passengers. We would like to avoid this for future. So I hope we can consider that. Also, in our last study session addressing the taxi cab industry and advertising, it was asked that the issue of advertising be brought back to the board at Sunline and Taxi Board there. I attended a meeting last Friday where it was brought back. They made it very, very clear that they have no jurisdiction and no problem with taxi advertising. The only issue we have is with the city of Palm Springs. So that I can enlighten you if you're not aware, the county of Riverside has no ordinance against taxi advertising at all. Mayor Adolph, who sits on the taxi board of La Quinta, said he has no problem with taxi advertising. In our study session that we attended, where it was considered by this council, it was brought up that possibly the city of Indian Wells was going to pass an emergency measure. And I see I'm running out of time. Okay. I'd love to speak more, but I understand I have limits.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is Sergio Santos in the office, in the chamber?
I don't believe he's here, sir.
Thank you. Thomas?
Thomas Van Etten, Palm Springs resident. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Mr. Mayor, I'm here this evening as one citizen to thank you personally for the number of years of public service you have given to the people of Palm Springs. Your intelligence, your grasp of the issues that face our city, your wit, and your charm have made you an extremely effectual mayor during these last many years. You have served all of the people of Palm Springs. I personally want to thank you for the support of the many issues that you have given to the gay community in Palm Springs. You have been on the forefront of many of these issues that affected us as gay people. Your support of flying the rainbow flag, your support of gay veterans marching in the Veterans Day Parade, your support of victims of hate crimes, your support of tourist venues that benefit not only the gay community but the city in general are but a few of your many accomplishments. Some, during this campaign, have tried to paint you as homophobic. Some people bought into that perception. I should know. I was one of those in the past who was very critical of you. I will tell you, however, that after I got to know you, I found you to be exactly the opposite of what others had tried to make me believe. I salute you tonight and thank you from the bottom of my heart for your goodness and your ability. I will personally take your lead and embrace the new mayor and city council members with my utmost respect and honor, and pledge to work with them for the betterment of all of Palm Springs residents. God bless you, Mr. Kleindienst. You have been a gift to all of us.
You want to go again? You want to read it one more time? I control the clock. You want 3 more minutes? Thank you, Thomas. Anyone else wishing to make public comments, please come forward at this time. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
You give your name to the city clerk. You have 3 minutes and welcome.
Thank you. My name is Tim Rigolato. I'm a Palm Springs resident my whole life. I'm just going to help Robin out a little bit and finish her thing. It was spoke that some of the other city officials and council people were going to create an ordinance to stop advertisement on top of taxi cabs. I have a personal interest because I want to advertise on top of taxi cabs, and I want to group them together and create a media company that does that, called Imagivision. I've been working on it for over 1.5 years. The sign ordinance thing was, some of you were against certain types of signs in certain ways, but I noticed during this political thing that just came up, to run for mayor, that it was plastered everywhere. I mean, you're on every street corner, you had 50 signs. So to tell the cab industry that they can't have 2 signs on top of their car after what you guys do to run for your seats is just kind of not right, I think. But I think the taxi industry needs to benefit from extra revenue on top of the cars. I think we're a community that's growing. We got casinos, we have restaurants that would love to advertise Every other major city in the country has this type of advertisement. And if it did come down to, God forbid, some type of legal action to make this happen, maybe a city attorney could inform you that most cities that's ever been challenged with this have lost that battle. And so I would encourage you that if it comes up again, vote it and pass it. Let these cabbies have their advertisement and let the community benefit from it. And as far as their doubling insurance, gosh, an industry that's already sitting over there for 5 hours, maybe a couple runs a day during our season, and they only got 5 months a year to really make money. And I know that because I run the airport and other things. To make an extra financial burden on them with insurance, if you guys have any power to stop that, I don't know if you do, but if you do, I would encourage you to do that too. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sergio Santos, you want to come forward, sir?
Good seeing everybody again. I don't know if they've already let you know what happened over at Sunline. You know that they decided that it wasn't an issue that they wanted to deal with. So basically, I was kind of, I've been looking at that videotape from the meeting that we had, and I was trying, at the end, it was 2 votes no and 2 votes send it to Sunline. Where are we at on that? Is there a possibility that we can open up dialogue again at a city council meeting? Or I probably can't ask a question during this part. Okay. It's my hope that we can open up dialogue again and try to get this issue resolved. At the Sunline meeting, I will tell you, Mayor Adolph from La Quinta said he could care less about advertising on taxis. I talked to the county of Riverside. They assured me there's no ordinances against advertising on taxi cabs for the county of Riverside. I believe it was the assistant city manager, Mr. Blutzoff. Is that right? He had mentioned that Indian Wells was going to pass a measure against advertising. Mr. Percy Bird at the Sunline meeting told us that no such meeting had been held. So that's where we're at. We'd just like to try to get this issue back up and get a decision one way or the other if we could. And one more thing, an interesting thing happened at the airport today concerning the insurance, the mandatory insurance to operate at the airport. For the last 7 years, the taxi cab industry has been under a deal where the Sunline Regulatory Agency fee of $300,000 insurance was enough for the airport. Now the buses and I believe the charter buses and some of the other transportation people, their insurance is at $750,000. The difference here is the taxis are always insured. Their insurance is charged at a much higher rate. And if we were to go up from $300,000 to $750,000, it would cost our industry $500 to $1,000 per vehicle per year. It would wipe out a lot of people. We've been under this agreement for 7 years that the $300,000 is good enough for the airport. My suggestion is if we could get the language on that contract rewritten and get that $750,000 mandatory insurance
Thank you, sir.
Line taken out and put, get $300,000 written on that.
Thank you,
if we
sir.
could. Thank you very much for your time.
Anyone else wishing to address the council during public comments? Good evening.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, David Barron, Palm Springs. I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate and thank Dana and Jeannie and Will for your many, many years of dedicated service. I know Dana's not here tonight, and I wish her well. To Dana, I would only say that I found her service to be exceptional. She's been on the council a long time. I had a lot of dealings with Dana. And while she did not vote the way I lobbied her many times, one thing about Dana was she'd give you a very honest time to talk. She would listen. She would read up and study and then vote her conscience. And I think that's all any constituent can ask for in a council member, is to take it on the up and up and digest the information and make their best call. So to Dana, a consummate straight shooter. Jeannie, I know you're going to be back because I know you've got this in your blood. And I remember probably 12, 13 years ago when we were sitting side by side on Economic Development Commission together. And you've come a long way. And what can I say? It was just a pleasure working with you. And I know all of your decisions came from the heart, where it should come, as well as from the mind. But I think you did a fabulous job and served the city well. Thank you. Will, I think you're one of the finest mayors that we've ever had. No one's worked harder than you. No one's been more dedicated than you. I know Ron's up to the challenge. I wish him well. But this is your last council meeting. I just want to wish you really exceptional thanks from all the citizens of Palm Springs. You really did a hell of a job for us. And I don't think the citizens of the town understand or appreciate what all of you do, and the gobs of inches of materials you receive every week, and the phone calls and the meetings about endless issues. It's a huge, huge commitment, and we appreciate it. Thank you all much, and good luck to the new council.
Any other comments? Very good. We'll close public comments, and we'll turn to the consent calendar. Members of the council, any ones you'd like to pull for discussion, note abstentions, or have questions on, please do so at this time. And I'll start with item 10. I will be abstaining from this because of proximity to my residence.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Oden.
I will be abstaining on number 9 because of proximity to my residence.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mills.
I will be abstaining on number 10 in that I do business for the adjacent property owners.
Got a quorum problem on item 10 at this point.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Spurgeon.
I won't be abstaining on anything.
Very good.
And that's the first.
And that's a first.
I only have one minor correction on item 1, which is the approval of the minutes. If you'll turn to that item, page 6, under added starters, third line, rows subsequent to the posting, the capital T, in the middle of the word posting should be a small t. Okay, so we've got abstentions noted by Mr. Oden on 9. Mr. Mills and I are abstaining on 10, which means you haven't got quorum. You have the choice of actually drawing straws or carrying that forward for a week or more, depending on what your council agenda does. And beyond that, anything else the council wants to bring forward? How do you want to handle 10, please?
Mr. Mayor, if we could indulge you on number 10, Mr. Barakian, our engineer, needs to convey an important message on the timeliness of this issue.
Just say it's timely.
Yes, it's timely, and the bids are only good for 60 days, which is through the 30th of November.
All right, we should draw straws, Mr. Attorney.
So it can't be put off until the next council meeting, the 30th, you said?
Yes, until the 30th. The bids are good through the 30th of November.
Unless you convene a meeting.
Right.
Unless you convene a special meeting on the 26th, specifically for the purposes of taking action on this. Otherwise, you've got to draw straws. Clerk's got straws
It
ready.
was continued from the last meeting, if that helps David in making the decision to draw straws today.
Within the regular meeting schedule, if we have 2 people conflicted out, then you'll have to draw straws.
Okay, Mr. Mills? And myself will then draw straws.
Do we want to handle the other ones?
Yeah.
All right, I'll move the consent agenda excluding item 10.
I'll second that.
Motion for approval by Ms. Spurgeon, second by Mr. Oden. Clerk, I'll ask for a roll call on the consent, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye. Passes unanimously. Let's go to the extended consent calendar. We'll go with item 10 then, and we'll draw straws.
paper.
We'll draw what? What are we drawing?
Paper.
Paper? Lots? What are we doing here? And what is this? What's this? How do we know I won or lost?
You lost.
What's this say?
No, actually, you won.
That's a G? Looks like 90 to me. All right, go. Mr. Roden, you're in charge, sir.
Item number 10, staff report, please.
David, could you please come forward? This is our Director of Engineer, and he will give you the update on this long-awaited project, actually. This is a piece of good news.
Thank you. This item number 10 will award a construction contract financed through a state grant for a flashing crosswalk on Tativa Drive between the hospital and the medical offices across the street.
How many years is this? Years, this is.
Couple of years since we started talking about this, but we were successful in getting a state grant to pay for most of it, and it should provide for increased safety for pedestrians. Staff recommends approval.
I'll move the minute order.
It's been moved by Councilmember Rella Spurgeon. Is there a second? I'll second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mills?
Stain?
No, you have to vote.
Oh, I have to?
Yes, sir.
You could get a second.
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Rella Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye. Passes unanimously. Yes. Would you ask Mr. Mayor to come in, please? And we'll move to public hearings.
Do that next time.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to our public hearings then. Item 15 is local law enforcement block grants. Mr. Reddy, your staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is the Federal Bureau of Justice Assistance grant that they're offering us for $88,871. It was duly advertised as a public hearing. It's before you this evening. This actual grant is going to be a match of approximately $8,000, which you will be approving tonight to appropriate from the Asset Forfeiture Fund. This will provide us with needed equipment, and before any equipment is bought, however, because we cannot specify what that is today, but before any equipment is purchased, it will be back before you to purchase that equipment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Members of the council, this is a public hearing. Any questions on this item? Very good. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to address item 15, the local law enforcement block grants, please come forward at this time. Seeing no one? We'll close the public hearing. Let the record show no one testified. Council, before you is a minute order. It's your pleasure.
I'll move the minute order.
Thank you, Ms. Rella Spurgeon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Oden. Thank you. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Rella Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye. Passes 4-0. It's unanimous. This is now time for council comments, announcements, or interagency reports. Council? What do you got?
I have none.
None?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mills?
There'll be opportune time for comment regarding you two, and also Dana, and I'm sure she's watching. But just quickly, I appreciate the years of service of both of you, or all three of you actually, and I have learned a great deal in the 2 years that I've sat here, having observed City Council for 25 years or so. And it is not the same until you're sitting here. And I thank you all for the help and guidance you have given me for the past 2 years, Dana, you included. And I only hope that I'll be able to do the same for the new 3 that are coming on. Although I don't have the years that you 3 certainly do, but I'm going to try. Thank you, all three of you, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mills.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Oden.
I will reserve my comments for the next meeting. I don't know if I can go through the emotion of trying to do it twice.
Practicing.
Yeah.
Very good. Any other announcements or interagency reports? Very good. Again, I want to try to emphasize getting the appointments as soon as possible on the board and commissions. We had a JPA meeting this week on the Convention and Visit Authority. There's a number of changes going on. Mr. Reddy should be made aware of the fact that although the TAC had indicated a reason for concern about their reason for existence, the JPA did not accept the idea of it being disbanded. In fact, they're looking to get you more involved, and they're asking for a joint meeting in January. So we must have a member of the Palm Springs Council in accompanying you at the next meeting in January. The anticipation is 90 minutes just to discuss the role of the JPA and the TAC without how it involves the HIBC, the budget process, and so on and so forth. So I would suggest that have at least calendared, and I would suggest extensive briefing well in advance of the meeting. It will be a rigorous debate as to the role of TAC at the JPA. And there are, I will caution you, different views and opinions. So you better try to solidify what your position is on TAC and be able to defend it in the open volley session that they're going to have. 90 minutes for one item is a rarity at the JPA. It's not typically done so. And there will be a lot of changes expected there. There are, of course, as you know, the next day after the 25th, there is a Sunline board meeting. You heard some issues tonight about some of the taxi cab issues. The study session that occurred on Friday did not have a representative there. We allowed the new members to take over, but there is a desire, of course, to get our input at all times at that, and it's still a very active organization, so hats off to that. And RCTC looks forward to the new member. Be careful. It's full contact sport at RCTC. Be very careful. Beyond that, I have my last committee assignment tomorrow in Diamond Bar. I'll be at the MSRC for final instructions towards the goals and desire of fighting for good air in Palm Springs. And beyond that, that position will be lost. It will not be ours to assume because it's what I call one of the lily pads. You've got to get to the next board to get it assigned to the board to get to MSRC. So I don't think you're going to have a Palm Springs representative of RCTC at MSRC for a number of years. So I'll relinquish that tomorrow, and Carl Moyer for that matter. That accessed probably close to $35 million a year in air quality funds. I would suggest whoever gets the RCTC appointment become friends of the representative at MSRC because there's a tremendous amount of access of funds that we've been very successful for the Valley, not just for Palm Springs, in bringing back, including the PM10 money we brought in this year for $1 million to resolve that issue. Conformity and attainment are still lurking. If we fail, we will lose all funding from the federal government. There was an interesting piece in the newspaper this past week talking about PM10 issues and air quality issues. It was a bit technical for the average reader, but the reality is it is being watched and monitored both at the AQMD and it is being monitored at the Air Resources Board in Sacramento. The loss of that conformity, again, is the loss of money that can affect adversely all of your federal grants, all of your federal funding from transportation to possibly CDBG. So be very cognizant of the implications of that action. All right, otherwise, I have books in my office that somebody can pick up. All they have is last month's agenda in it, but you can have it if you want them. Let us now turn to our legislative calendar. Item 16, solid waste transfer station, has been withdrawn at the request of the city manager. Item 17 is a Sunrise Norte lease amendment. I will note for the record that this is a conflict of mine. We are in the process of doing escrows in the Sunrise Norte area, and I have been on record of abstaining. I will once again pass gavel back to our Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Oden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Staff report, please.
Thank you. Members of Council, I would yield to John Raymond, our Director of Community and Economic Affairs. This is a rather detailed staff report, and he will have the facts. Thank you.
Good evening. Mr. Mayor, this is actually a lease extension with the 51 homeowners in Sunrise Norte to extend their current leases, which were originally 50-year leases, to new 60-year leases for the purpose of facilitating any purchase or sale of a home in the tract or a refinancing. It's ironic that this is on the agenda the same night that the Santiago Sunrise Mobile Home Park is, because those were originally, going back to 1982, part of the same lease to the same developer that was to build affordable housing out in that area. In 1987, the mobile home park was sold to another entity, and but in 1983 and 84, this tract was developed and homes sold off to individual property owners. In 1991, that lessee, and this is all city-owned land, quit-claimed his interest in the remaining part of the lease, and therefore our interest, our real property interest, merged with the lessee's. We have been the lessor of those 51 homes for the last about 12 years, since about 1991. What's happened now is that the original 50-year leases are down to about 28 years. People are unable to obtain 30-year financing, and they have to get 20-year mortgages and 25-year mortgages, which are more expensive. These are subject to the same resale type restrictions that are that we lifted back in July on Quail Point, Desert Dorado, and Sunrise Palms. The difference is that the way the current leases are constructed is that they're below market. They're basically subsidized leases. You have to have some sort of quid pro quo, I guess, on the part of the municipality in return for that subsidy on the lease. We've been negotiating for the last couple of months with the homeowners, with a group of the homeowners, actually quite a sizable group of the homeowners, on either a new lease under new terms that would lift the restriction, or their ability to actually acquire the lots. We did appraise this summer the individual lot price, and we've been starting from that point. However, it's going to take another couple of months, I think, to work out all the details and put that lease and or purchase and sale agreement together. And so what we wanted to do and what we committed to the homeowners is that we would bring this lease amendment, which is only one item, which is the term of the lease, to the council, and have those extended so that anybody in the process of selling or buying or refinancing would not be hurt by the existing 28 years left on the lease, and that we would be back in a couple of months with the new deal, with the new deal points. So it's a little bit the way the lease amendment is written is a little bit general, because we have to ultimately put it in the form that the title company will accept. So it conforms to what it is that we want to do, but what actually gets recorded may look a little different. But the deal points are the same, which is just an extension of the term. So apologize for the long report, but it is kind of a convoluted and a little bit confusing transaction. And that concludes my report.
Mr. Alshire.
Yes, if I could just emphasize that last point. We originally had a master lease. That lessee is no longer there. The master lessee entered into these 55 separate leases. And so it's these 55 leases that we need to extend the term with. In working with the title company may wish us to alter in some respects the documents you have before you tonight. So we're trying to facilitate this for the homeowners and minimize the trouble and disruption. We're going to take responsibility for making sure the documents get recorded and not just leave it to them to worry about that. But through that process and working with the title company, we may need to alter the format of these documents to some degree. So we need to have you approve it with the discretion to be able to make those adjustments.
Thank you. Council comments or direction?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mills.
I've met with the Sunrise Norte group a few times, and I would like to thank Mr. Raymond and Mr. Alshire, number one, for hurrying this along. I know those people in that area particularly appreciate it, and this enables them to move along and do some things that they have been hoping to do, and I hope the rest of the council agrees with me on this issue, and I would like to move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second that, and I assume that's contingent upon Mr. Alshire's wishes that if we need to tweak the wording.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Mills and a second by Ms. Reller Spurgeon. I'd just like to make a comment. A special thanks to Councilmember Mills for meeting continually with the group. During the campaign, I was unable to meet with them many times, and I know you did, so I know you helped to facilitate this process. And also to Shirley Bush, who continues to be a liaison between many of these homeowners and the City Council, so thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. One absent. Abstention, I'm sorry. And we will move to item number 18. This is, it's not been withdrawn. Staff report, please.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, members of council, we wanted to actually do a substitution for number 18. The original listing was to approve the contract with SMG for the convention center. However, we are doing some last-minute finalization of that contract, and the substitution would be a request to extend the current contract for 30 days so we can finalize the larger contract and bring it back to you, hopefully, and I believe would be within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Very good. Council, questions, comments?
I'll move the minute order.
I'll second.
I'm going to verify something. Yeah, okay. This is the minute order is the improvement, the agreement to move this for 30 days.
Right.
Okay. And we have a motion and a second. Thank you. Just a comment. I appreciate this action. I think that with the new council coming, in order to get a long-term commitment of this importance, tourism was spoken of repeatedly during the campaign. It is greatly appreciated by this gentleman that the staff allows the new council to determine and even shape the conditions of this contract. So I appreciate that recommendation. Very good. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll ask all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it's deemed unanimous. Let's now turn to item 19, our convention center expansion. This is phase 2, and Mr. Reddy, I believe you have a staff report for us tonight.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Smoot, in a few moments, as the director of this project, is going to give you a rather lengthy staff report of where we stand with our convention center expansion. But before he does that, I need to talk to you for a moment on a level that I need to express. In the last 3.5 years since I've been here, City Council has asked us to address some of the long-standing issues, and we have done so, and I'll just name a couple, and these are all familiar. The parking structure, the skate park, the visitor center, most recently finalizing the Fashion Plaza storefront, and of course not the least of which is the new airport road and security checkpoint. We've had to do each and every one of those projects on a time frame that this bureaucracy and most organizations do not have the capacity to do, for all the barriers, the rules, the reasons, the resources, etc. And we have stretched the envelope beyond what we thought was possible, and we got those things done. And our city is much improved because of that. The convention center, however, tonight we were to bring you bid contracts to approve that would move the convention center expansion in that same direction. However, unfortunately, 2 bids that we opened yesterday came in well over the estimated price. For reasons that aren't quite clear to the professionals in the field, the world somehow, with regard to this, has been turned on its head. And we'll get some explanations tonight, and we will give you a solution. But I just want to let you know that, and to all our citizens, this was to get the project done quickly. We took some creative risks. We knew this was a possibility, and it doesn't mean the project can't be done. It just means we need to stand back, regroup, and come out with a little bit different strategy. But I assure you that the people on our team have worked very hard and will continue to do so. And with that, Mr. Smoot, will you please give us the details? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Mr. Mayor and members of council. 10.5 months ago, the council selected an architect and a design for the convention center and assigned a team of construction managers and administrators to take the convention center, double it in size, reverse its front entry, and change the entire image of that facility, and do it in a fast-track process so that we could start by December of '03 and finish by spring of '05 within a fixed budget. As Mr. Reddy has just told you, and I'll tell you again, I take no pleasure in speaking on behalf of the team, which, by the way, are all out in the audience for questions or comments, to report to you that we have not met your assignment at this point. What did occur was a few days ago, we received the most recent cost estimate from our cost estimators, and at that point, the project was about $3.5 million above the budget that you established in the contract with the architect. To compound that, we had 4 bids out on the street, 2 of them major, the demolition and the grading parking lot bids, and those bids were opened yesterday. They compounded the problem in that those bids came in substantially higher than even the estimate for the particular work that was to be done. Based upon that, we do not believe it is at all wise to proceed further with the current tack that we are undertaking, and we have 2 recommendations to you. The first is the first resolution that you have, which is to reject all the bids that were received yesterday, so that those folks know that we are not proceeding. The second resolution would be several things to be done. First of all, direct Fentress Bradburn, the architects, to immediately undertake a redesign to bring it into the $25.53 million construction budget so that we can begin construction in April of 2004. Further, to direct the staff to cease all further bidding. We have several bid packages, large bid packages on the street right now, and we wish to have your permission to stop that activity until the redesign by the architect is complete so that we don't burn any subcontractors that are out there that we may wish to have work with us in the future. And then lastly, we would like you to direct that the bidding and the construction of the north parking lot be pulled out of this project and be made a public works project, and go ahead and bid that out and get the construction going on that as soon as possible. It was a complicating feature of the project, and this will allow it to get started before the construction will begin in April. The report we faxed out to you today did have all of the details of the estimating, had all the details of the bids that came in. I'd be happy to go through those if you want me to, or if you would like, members of the team are here and they'd be happy to answer your questions. I certainly would be happy to try to answer your questions. The group is working on answers. I can tell you that the folks who did the estimate this morning notified me that they have taken the estimate and have given it to another group of estimators to take a look at, completely independent, so that we can get some answers as to what's happened. If indeed tonight you reject the bids, we will then go back to some of the bidders and ask them why their bids were so high so that we can learn from that to see if there was anything that we did in the process that created that. And also, I think the other thing that by stepping back at this point, fixing the design to where it fits the budget, and then going out with all of the bids at the same time, you will then be able to have a complete estimate or complete actual cost of the building before you have to sell bonds or before you actually have to start construction on this. It is not good news that we delivered to you tonight, and we stand ready to try to answer your questions and proceed forward post haste if that's your desire.
Okay. Well, what's your directions here, gentlemen, ladies?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Oden.
I'd like to hear from Mr. Dunn on the impacts.
Based on postponement?
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Dunn. Mr. Dunn, if you'll introduce yourself and tell the community who you are.
Good evening, Jim Dunn, General Manager of the Convention Center. In looking at the specific groups that would be impacted, we have a number of groups that would be in over or immediately following the originally projected completion date. The ones that would be actually impacted by the delay would be 5 groups representing about 10,000 room nights, about $6.7 million in spending, and about, I believe it's 150,000 in TOT. Now, some of those, and I should say that's assuming we haven't had the opportunity to talk to these clients yet to see what we can do. We would be actually taking steps immediately to go back to these clients and see if there are things that we can do in cooperation with the hotel partners to utilize their space and minimize, these groups having to leave. So we would be going in with a plan B to try to work with these groups, and if they can't come this year, then to come maybe the following year. So we would be looking at all kinds of options like that. Again, there are 5 groups. Of those, I think 2 we can work with relatively easily. They're both repeat clients and we're familiar with their programs. The other 3 would be a little more difficult because we have not worked with them before and we're not sure of their sensitivities.
Mr. Dunn, you say 5 groups. What was the anticipated completion date, and now what is the estimated?
That assumed the completion date in March, actually a partial completion in March with the final completion in May of 2004.
And that was the assumed schedule. What is this?
Correct.
What does the delay do now to you?
This one actually assumes that the project would not be completed until September of '05.
And is that the soft or is that the final? Preliminary versus completion. You have a March versus a May. How does this reference on September?
I believe September would be the final. What we were looking at is delivering the exhibit hall portion of the building first and then the ballroom, meeting room section second.
Roughly a 4-month delay, impacting 5 major clients then?
Correct.
Other questions for Mr. Dunn? Thank you, Jim.
I have a question.
Mr. Ella Spurgeon.
How much have the estimators cost us so far?
The pre-construction activities that Turner has carried out for us, which was 3 estimates, as well as helping us do other value engineering work on the projects and start to write the scopes of work for the various bids, is $197,000.
And how much is it going to cost us to continue this process or redo?
I haven't talked to anyone at this point, but my expectation is that you're not going to pay to do it again.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Other comments?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mills.
I appreciate where Jeannie's headed, and although I will say that it's certainly, this type of thing is not unusual in the construction industry, particularly when you're working in a situation where you do not have complete plans. In defense of of Turner, we were cautioned that without complete plans, there's a bit of a gamble, and the contingency was, up where we thought they could handle it, and obviously it didn't. But I also think it's important to note that there were really 3 bids that went out. One bid came in $100,000 under budget, but the ultimate over budget was almost $800,000. So, I do agree with staff that the recommendations that we are looking at are, or that they have given to us are undoubtedly what we need to do. I think we need to, as a council, give extremely clear direction to the architect and Turner at this point that the number that we looked at the study session before, the 25.5, 25.4, whatever it was, is a number that we pretty much based everything on, with the assumption that the potential for the Measure I money, albeit not what we had hoped, was to be used to gain some additional features that we were not going to be able to afford in the 25.5 number, 25.4. Obviously, everybody involved in this project, from the convention center to the hoteliers to the citizens, need to realize that to take $4 million, $5 million out of this project from where we're looking at it now means cut. It means forget upgrades. It means forget even potential space. It means sit down and figure out what it's going to do to get this project down. And I need to emphasize that your target amount, in my mind, let's just call it 25.5 for now. Your target number needs to be less than that. 25.5, I mean, is where we want to be with this. I think the estimate should come in under that to give us a little room to play with, a little more of a contingency factor. If you see where I'm headed here, but the difference this time will be that we'll be dealing with 100% complete working drawings based on the schedule. And I'm assuming the schedule for the drawings pretty much stays the same, or will it increase a little?
We will, at this point, we were planning on having completed drawings on December 15th, but because we're going to have to go back and take things out now, the commitment is that we'll have drawings ready to go to bid the first week in February, which is the timeline we need for a mid-April start.
Okay. I also think, having sat in several of the sessions with the group, that there needs to be someone from the owner's side that just simply says no, and that needs to be one person. And whether it's Mr. Smoot, although Mr. Smoot's duties, he's probably going to be on a real nice cruise about the time this is going through this nasty part. I think Mr. Fontana, in Mr. Smoot's absence, is very capable of handling that spot. And I think, as a council, we need to support Mr. Fontana's decisions to get this project in on budget and get the start date and the April start date as we spoke. And I would think, although I don't know if we need to officially put it in the motion, but I do think that it does come down to one person, the owner's rep, that has to make the decisions, the hard decisions, and be willing to stand behind them and bring this in at the number it needs to be brought in at. I think it's doable. I think the architects are certainly willing to do their part to make it doable. I know Turner is also willing to make it doable. I think this, although it be a small setback, and I really mean a small setback, it may seem major, but I know we'll get to where we need to be. I know we'll have the facility very similar to the one that we see now, and it will come in on budget and on time, based on the performance that we've seen out of Turner in the past. I have not a doubt in my mind that will happen, and with a minimum of change orders also, which is the reason that we're doing this entire process this way. I think that if the rest of the council concurs, and I hope they do, that I think we can go forward. I know the new council will need a little bit of briefing too, and that will help. You know, in that the time period that we have here is perhaps an opportunity to have that understanding of what we're doing here. I would also suggest that that we appoint another person from council to attend these meetings that I've been going to in place of the mayor, and I would suggest someone new to council, in that I think it would be an opportunity for them to get an education as to how this is working and to understand the project better. So those are my comments for now.
I will agree, it'll definitely be an education. If I may, my quick comments. First of all, I've got absolutely no regrets on the team members we selected across the board. I think everyone we picked, from the architect to our estimators to our owner's rep to everyone involved, has done a great job. This is not an easy project, and it's in constant flux, and it's always moving. It's hard to lock it down because we don't have a complete set of drawings. Page 2, which is 19A2, top line, kind of concerns me. I mean, but this is the nature of what we're dealing with here. At this point, there is more than 73% of the project yet to go to bid. So if you realize what percentage we've looked at and where we're slipping, you have to understand we are taking tremendous risk. As Mr. Reddy indicated in his opening comments, we are succeeding on a number of projects, from skateboard park to parking lot to vehicle inspections, that we have been doing this. Even the concourse itself was done, if you will, in a very untraditional, non-conventional fashion, and yet we have managed as a city, through our staff, our consultants, our teams, to get the things done. This one is a little bit more slippery, perhaps. It's not a brand new building, fresh virgin land. This is interfacing to an existing building that requires to be upgraded to meet the new standards. I do appreciate the comments that have already been made about trying to pull perhaps some components out and make them public work projects or otherwise. Recall, if you will, Council, at some of our earlier discussions, I think it was during budget, where I had expressed concerns about not allocating money towards this project or that project and keep money in reserve for this project. There was discussions on Arenas about using money to assist development. Okay, I suggest again, if those funds can be reallocated, because this is, if you will, today, currently, the #1 priority, then you're going to have to realize that you can't do everything, and you're going to have to keep this thing at a certain level. Item 9 tonight was discussed, and I don't think we can pull Measure A money from 9, but we had talked about postponing some of the traffic signals and keeping those monies available so that we could use those Measure A dollars towards this project. I suggest you look at every possible fund you have available, including your CIP, because you can do some upgrades and improvements at some later date by looking at a number of years of capital improvement projects and budgets to help facilitate this. You're going to have to get very creative. I think Mr. Mills' comments about putting a second member on this thing to track and monitor, as comments were made at the groundbreaking, the work is just beginning. It isn't that we're done now, we're going to have some fun and watch it go up. This is going to have to be monitored. Again, 73% not there yet. People are bidding on as best a set of plans as possible, but they can't see the full implications of what they're working on. In construction, what you inevitably do is, when you don't give the full picture, people cushion their bids to protect themselves, and you're seeing that here. I agree with Mr. Smoot's comments about if we can go back and talk to our subs that bid on these things. Why are they so high? What are you afraid of? What concerns did you have that we couldn't? What is it? It's going to require a lot of interface. I'm sure, as Mr. Oden's comments talked about loss of business, the loss of business is one component, but the ability to pay for that which you're building. If this thing continues to mushroom on you, it could be a nightmare. What you don't want to do is start a project that you can't close. So you've got to get your full arms around this thing. I appreciate the fact that Mr. Mills' expertise as an architect is available at no cost, I might add, to oversee this project, because his insight on this thing has been phenomenal. As a practicing architect, he has got greater understanding of this than I think anybody I know of currently in this, at least on council. I am, by all means, a shadow to the bright light that he is. His awareness of this whole process has been stellar. This is not an easy one. This is hardly the last thing I wanted to do on council, was to go ahead and postpone the most major project we've seen here in a long time. But I can't think of anything to do at this point as to how to move forward. I'm going to turn to our pro tem, obviously our mayor-elect, and see what direction he wants to go in. This is going to be one of your biggest ones to wrestle with, Mr. Roden, so I look to you and seek guidance and leadership as to how you want to shape this project, sir.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Roden.
I certainly appreciated Chris's comments and obviously his expertise. But there are no accidents. Everything happens for a reason. And when you look at the fact of the expertise that we have had on so many projects and how they've been able to pull them off, for this one to stop at this point, I think it's significant. It gives the new council an opportunity to catch up on many of these issues and to be briefed, and for us to prepare in a different way than we were this time when we tried to go forward. So I'm looking forward to this being passed down and also seeing what the new council, what their comments and input will be on this project as well.
I am glad to hear you say you're looking forward to this, sir.
Yes. And I am.
With but no choice.
It's true.
All right, Council, you have before you obviously your supplemental report. Additional comments are always welcome. Are there any at this time?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mills.
I think another important factor, and I know I don't have to tell the architect and the contractor this is, and that's, you know, when you have a major trade and you only have 2 people bidding it, that's not the right climate. I mean, you need at least 5 in a good day, and I think with the time that's left over, that we need to pursue more subcontractors to see if we can lure them into the qualification process. So we try to get 5 bids on all these trades. And I think the time will help. I think the fact that we will have 100% complete drawings will help. And hopefully the climate, the bidding climate, will get a little better for us, and hopefully the steel prices will go down too. So the other thing, Mr. Smoot, I wanted to run by you is the suggestion of pulling out the north parking lot. Although I appreciate what you're talking about, given the arrangement that we're looking at, or that we will be inheriting, or joint use of the Prairie Schooner site, however that ultimately works out, but that we may want to evaluate the potential parking there and see if maybe our scope in the north parking lot may be altered or not. And maybe we don't build all of that north parking lot at this time. But I think it's an option that needs to be weighed, as well as all the other options that are out there for the team to look at. So I certainly don't have a problem with doing it as a public works project at all, but I would like to leave it in the potential of cost reductions if the rest of the council sees fit for that, and we can deal with it as a public works project at any time, I think.
True.
So I would, Jeannie, I don't want. I would like to. What would I like to do? I would like to move the resolution rejecting the bids.
That's the first.
All bids current and in process. And then the second resolution regarding the directing the architect and our pre-construction services contractor to bring the project down to the original budget at the 25.5, whatever it is, as stated in the resolution, and to hold off on the north parking lot as a public works project for now, but that stay in the venue of reductions, and that Mr. Smoot be the owner's rep responsible for saying no, for lack of a better word, and that in his absence, Mr. Fontana would also assume that role. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. That's it.
I second that.
That would be moving both resolutions of 19B and 19C. Is that true, Mr. Mills?
What's that?
The resolutions found on page 19B and 19C.
Yes.
B and C.
But a change in C.
Right.
You want to change C? Because C talks about the
Okay,
north parking
I'll
lot.
second that.
Okay, is clerk clear on the changes on resolution on 19C? Okay. I would also like to see that our design team, our construction team, our team, come back and make a recommendation to the council as to how this thing should proceed, not just at a budget side, but on a timing side. That all of these broken out bids cause you to have an expansion, if you will, in some of your cost centers. And it may behoove us to listen to a different sensibility that says maybe we should not try to do this as quickly as possible, and what the rationale is about waiting until you get a more thoroughly complete set. And although I won't be here to actually be involved in the report, there may be some wisdom in looking at the parking lot as maybe an add option. You can see what that cost would be if you wanted to bring it back in again versus a public works. I mean, you can obviously analyze all of that. But I would not look at this as defeat nor as a mistake. This is just the nature of the project. This is a unbearably difficult project. I commend everyone involved from top to bottom on their efforts. And I appreciate the fact that everyone's trying real hard to bring this thing at the highest level and the lowest cost. And that's not an easy challenge to meet. So continue to fight for us. I appreciate it. Any other comments? Got a motion and a second. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll from the city clerk, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Roseburchin?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye. Esteemed unanimous. Item 20 is earthquake/flood insurance renewals. Mr. Reddy, your staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. On this particular one, you have an election to make, and I would like to ask Ms. Mills, our risk manager, to come forward, and I think she may have some friends this evening in the form of our insurance broker. They'll be here to answer some questions, and I'm sure you have some questions for them. The election you have to make, however, is last year our insurance coverage was $80 million, and for that we paid, as you see, $235,000 roughly. That same insurance this year is going to be approximately $110,000 more. The reason for that, obviously, from terrorist attacks, hurricanes, fires, et cetera, all those reasons have co-conspired to put insurance industry as a whole back in a retrenchment mode. Now, we saw this once in the 80s in the municipal market, and as you will see in the table that is listed on the back of your staff report, back in '94, we dropped all the way down to $20 million worth of coverage to be able to afford it, is what happened to the rates. So the election for you today is we can go ahead and renew this policy at the same level we did last year for roughly that $110,000 increase. Or we can reduce that from the $80 million, and if we reduced it down to the $10 million, we would save about $230,000 to $40,000. Unfortunately, staff's crystal ball is cracked, and we don't have any good idea of what's going to occur. Now, all I need to do is look outside and understand where those mountains came from. One big earthquake. Now, the chances of that happening again, the world has about 5 billion years to go until the sun turns into a white dwarf and we're all toast. But it also could happen tomorrow.
No need to panic, everyone. Just stay calm. It's going to be all right.
Well, this is true astrophysical facts. But again, we don't know on that time frame. A $10 million gamble may be good. But given what we know, if it happens tomorrow, all of us are in some problems. So actually, Sue, if you could come forward with the insurance broker, and there may be some specific questions that council has.
I'll be around the corner, man.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, members of the City Council.
I don't know if I'd be happy coming to a podium when the report starts about co-conspiracy. That would stun me when that came out.
Co-conspiracy
But of course,
of
it was
elements.
the elements. It wasn't
of elements, not people.
I understood.
Elements.
I know. Good evening, Sue. Nice to see you always. Do you want to add anything else to this report? Did you know about the sun going supernova on us and
I
taking
didn't
us
know
out?
about
Didn't know
that,
about that. Well, you got some time to pack.
Pretty worried
over it.
now.
I think you're okay. Council, you're faced with obviously some renewals here. You've gotten a fairly thorough and somewhat seemingly scientific report from our city manager at times here. Any questions on staff on this issue? The recommendation is that we adopt the resolution approving the flood renewals, the earthquake renewals, effective the 21st, which would be in 2 days. So, what's your pleasure?
Decrease the coverage. I would decrease the coverage. So that we don't spend any more than we spent last year.
Going to hold the coverage to the budget line of last year?
Yep.
And then give us an adjustment as to what we cover?
That's what I would do.
Actually, the dollars are appropriated at the higher level. So if you take a lower coverage, it would be pure savings to the general fund. It is appropriated at the $300,000 level in anticipation of these increases. So that's why it would be a complete saving to the general fund.
How much cost savings, Mr. Kennard, does that represent in dollars? I don't have the base over last year.
I think it was $236,000 last year, somewhere right around there, and depending on, I would think we put like $327,000 in the budget. We were going to move some additional savings around from some other insurance policies to get up to the $345,000 figure if you wanted the $80 million coverage. So comparing it to last year, you'd save about $150,000 compared to what we have in the budget. Excuse me, about $100,000 compared to what we have in the budget. And Mr. Mayor, those savings would accrue to the risk management fund, and some of that would eventually accrue to the general fund, but it wouldn't be a direct general fund savings.
There are the baskets and the silos of city funding, so. If you lower, based on a budget consideration, what's your worst-case scenario on exposure, please? You can paint the doom today.
Although I would note that right now, help me here, we have approximately $200 million worth of property value in the city. We, even at the 80,000 level, 80 million level, we're still not covering everything. That's just half. So we would be going down to, appreciably less, probably 20% of our assets.
And yet the high number has been budgeted?
Yes.
Correct.
You're budgeted at what's your budget at for this year?
$327,000, Mr. Mayor.
So, Sue, that's third layer, 15? Is that what that is on your table one?
We could
15 million additional.
right. We could get up to $65 million in coverage for 327,000.
Okay. Okay. What's your council's, what's the pleasure of the council? You could spend the 327 allocated and be at 65 million. All right? Or you could cut back to prior years or even to the 308,000 and be to 50 million.
Mr. Mayor,
Please.
just as a point of insight, the reason for the changes and the increases is because the insurance industry is doing some repostulation themselves.
You pull the mic around.
They know, because of the increase in the number of earthquakes that are occurring, the increase in the magnitude of those earthquakes, that there's going to be a larger hit in the near future, and so they're repostulating themselves to be able to get quota share within certain geographic territories. Because of that, they formed a new modeling system this year, which now allows them to say we can project where those quakes may occur and to be able to model ourselves so that the industry themselves can only take a quota share percentage of that and not be hit, in a catastrophic one, should and if one happen within a certain geographic area. And that's much of the reason for the increase in premium this year.
These are the words of the insurance industry.
Right.
That they believe there's an increased frequency and an increased intensity, and they believe that it's going to be in this geographic area, hence we're cited.
This particular zone was hit harder than any other zone in the United States.
So you take the costs and you disperse it among more people, makes it easier for the insurance industry.
Well, they then model themselves and postulates where they say, well, instead of getting 100% of the hit in Zone E, then we will spread our risk over many other zones and say only take 10%. In doing that, it forced the company we had last year, who gave us a much better rate for that $40 million layer, to pull out of the market and not offer us a renewal on the $40 million layer. And we had to go into the Lloyd's market to be able to, duplicate that, because many of the other carriers are now saying, we don't want in on the $40 million, second layer. We want to be higher up and thus not be in the quota share where we're going to get hit at a much greater risk.
All right, there you have it. You can't move the city to another zone, so you are where you are. Add options out, don't even talk about it.
We could move to the hurricane zone.
Tornadoes are available?
Yeah.
Much lower rates?
Yeah. But I'm sure they have the same calculation for there
There's a
that we're
hole.
paying for.
Another one waiting for you, Ron. Don't go there, man. Do not go there. You're in Zone E. It's a bad zone, Zone E.
I would make a motion that we stay at the same budget level as last year.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second that, but I'd like to know what it was.
300.
All right, we're going to have a second on that to remain at last year's funding level, and then we'll adjust the coverage accordingly. Mr. Kennard, once again, would you give us last year's allocation to this, please, in the budget? That's what this year is.
No.
Yeah, last year's was 235,885.
And then how much coverage does that give us on a cumulative insurance coverage?
Last year, it gave us.
Oh, no, what would
We're
that
not
get
worried
us
about
this year? If
last
we
year,
gave you
this
that
year.
much money this year, what are you getting us?
We're going to have to go remarket those layers to be able to get down to that, and then based on that remarketing determination, then we could come up and say, well, this is how many dollars we have to spend. This is, the amount of insurance we can buy for that.
Although, if I could note, if by doing that, we can't renew our current policy, so we'll be without any coverage after November 30. On page 20B, if you see the layers there, the $107,000 gets us to $10 million. Now, the next layer, you have no choice. You have to take that, unfortunately, that $200,000 price, 201,093, to get to the 40 million. So we either go with 10 million spending 107 more, or we're locked into 40 million spending 201,000 more.
I don't want to spend more.
Okay, then under that scenario, we would go with a 10 million level of coverage. Unless, to the insurance broker, is there any way we could extend our current policy?
What we would do is go back to the carrier who's offering the $40 million layer and tell him that we only want to buy 35 or 30 or whatever the case may be, and get the coverage so that we're not without coverage, but at the spending limit that we want to be at.
And if they tell you that's not an option?
Well, that is an option.
That is an option. Great. Thank you.
Good job, Ross. I knew I liked you.
Well, I guess the concern I have is trying to cut some costs. First of all, it isn't the budget, it's allocated. Secondarily, for the money saved, God forbid the tragedy hits, the coverage is significantly different. It's significantly different. And I'm not comfortable reducing the coverage in this case for savings. If there's one thing I would suggest that's very important is protecting the assets, and for the amount of money we're asking, it's just significant. I know we don't protect it all, don't get me wrong, I understand that, but I'm just not comfortable in reducing any more than we already had. If we've got 327 budgeted, that gets you 65 million in coverage, correct? And we have estimated assets of over 200 million. So, I mean, the council's pleasure is to reevaluate and rebid this, if you will, based on last year's numbers.
Mr. Mayor, our assets at 200 and whatever it is that structure, or is that property, or is that
road? What is that?
That basically consists of all buildings, operational buildings, and contents within those buildings.
Okay, thank you.
You're paying for your own road repairs then? Doesn't cover the sewer lines in the street, right?
That's right.
So infrastructure is not a part of it. Which means if you get hit, and you got roads going up and infrastructure going down, and buildings and content lost. So,
We were looking at operational buildings because those are the ones you want to put back into, or operational condition the soonest and without any delay of money to do that with.
which buildings are considered to be non-operational buildings?
Buildings that would be leased out or that you're only receiving revenues from, or not be ones that would be required for ongoing operations.
In the case of leased buildings, Plaza Theater, Francis Stevens Park, and anything else we have is a leased building, they have their own coverage. Is that correct? Part of our contracts, they provide coverage, or no?
No, they don't.
It would be
They
like a
don't cover
renter's policy, their own equipment, but not the building or structure. That's ours.
So if a building goes down that we're leasing and they lose operations, they can shut down, walk away, not pay us rent, and force us to repair it at our own expense.
That's correct.
Right. We had this discussion recently. I didn't support either.
Okay.
Well, you got a motion on the floor to go to last year's budget line and hold, and then rebid this at a lower number. Gonna try to float this and see if it flies?
Yeah, I think we had a motion in a
A
second.
motion in a second. Let's take a roll call on that. All those in favor of roll call, please, huh?
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
No.
Ms. Reller Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
No. All right, that motion will die based on a tie of 2-2. Alternate motion. What is the other thought then? Not that we don't appreciate saving.
This is, yeah.
I turn to you, sir, as the new mayor of the city of Palm Springs, and seek direction, sir.
As the sun melts.
Yes.
Quickly, the sun is heating up as we speak.
We have the 236 that's allocated currently.
327.
Three.
Current is 236.
236.
Current budget.
That is correct.
327.
320.
No, that's the next budget.
Yeah,
No,
320.
what is currently budgeted in this year's budget for insurance?
About $327,000.
$327,000.
Current budget.
But the current budget is 236.
No, last year we spent 236.
Right, last year was 236.
And we
And
adjusted the budget.
236 only gives us what this year?
You'd have to go back and check.
Oh, yeah, that's right, about the 10 million, right.
It's 150.
150 total. True
It-
value.
I'll move
If-
the
if-
resolution as it stands then.
Okay.
Now, the resolution that stands asks for what? 345?
345, and that's,
An increase of what we have budgeted then.
Well, if
Holding
council-
the
if-
same dollar amount of insurance, but you're paying more for it.
We have some savings, some other accounts, Mr. Mayor, that would cover that slight increase there if you wanted to do that.
So we're going to maintain the same $80 million worth of coverage and pay an increase over our budgeted allotment.
That's what it would give us, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. There's a motion on the floor by Ms. Reller Spurgeon. Is there a second to move the resolution as it's offered?
Second.
Second by Mr. Oden. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Now I'll ask for a roll call.
Mr. Mills?
No.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Reller Spurgeon?
no.
Mr. Mayor?
No. All right, so
Okay.
we've wiped that one off the option sheet.
See how flexible I
Mr.
am?
Mayor,
I appreciate you making the motion at least to try, my dear. Mr. Oden.
if we approve the 236, can we, when the new council meets, if they decide to up this, can we do that at that time?
I believe we have the option to always buy additional layers.
All right,
Yes.
then fine.
But if I may, Mr. Oden, conversely, if the new council comes on and says, we'd like to lower, can we lower? And if there's a penalty in lowering?
There will be a penalty.
There was a penalty.
Yeah.
Okay?
But that's the minimum that we allocated for last year.
Yes.
That'll be fine.
Okay, so basically authorizing the allocated funds in on this year's budget of $327,000 towards a coverage of $65 million. Correct?
No.
235.
We're not going to buy 65 million at that budgeted level.
327. You want to use this year's budgeted amount.
So in essence, we would be going with the first motion.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, at this point, it is.
But you can't do that.
So, Mr. Mayor, is
Madam
that,
Clerk, yeah.
is that the approval then for the premium rate to be the $235,885?
Staying the same as what last year's budget was.
Right.
Or last year's premium was.
Premium.
Buying
Premium, yeah.
what that will buy. Do you want me to do that one again? I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mills.
And obviously on Mr. Oden's path would be to revisit that perhaps
Yes.
at a later date, which is certainly his prerogative, but yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Wells Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
No. Passes 3-1. Thank you both for your patience and assistance in that issue.
So we're covered.
All right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we're on item 21, the comprehensive fee schedule amendment for airport parking. Mr. Reddy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. The Airport Commission had approved the increase that's before you. It is $1 increase from $7 to $8 for the day. This increase is well within all the other regional airports, and Mr. Smoot obviously can answer any additional questions that you might have regarding the Commission's decision. Thank you.
Well, it's pretty cut and dry. They want to raise the rates. And the money is for raising revenue to assist the airport in its operation. And this is airport money, doesn't come to general fund.
I'll move the resolution.
Motion by Ms. Rella Spurgeon. Is there a second?
Second.
And second by Mr. Oden. Any additional comments or questions?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mills.
Mr. Smoot, with the increase of the parking rates, does a portion of that go to our vendor or not?
The vendor's paid a percentage of what's collected, so yes, a portion of it would end up going to the vendor.
You know what that portion is?
15, I'm going to say 15%. I could be wrong. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact answer on that. It's a graduated scale based on the level of overall revenue that comes in, and it gets smaller the higher the revenue gets, so this may very well be on the upper end, which is like 4%. Is it? It is 15%. Okay, Tom has corrected me.
Is there a reason that, I mean, I understand we're raising, so the vendor in this case essentially is going to, this will increase his profit then?
That's correct.
15 cents on the dollar, so. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Additional comments or questions? Otherwise, I'll ask for the roll call, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Wells Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye. Passes 4-0. Item 22 is a comprehensive fee schedule amendment also. It is dealing with the skateboard park. And Mr. Reddy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. The Parks Commission has approved the schedule fee for the new skate park, which will be opening on Thanksgiving weekend, barring no earthquakes. And what we're asking for this evening is you to approve this fee schedule. Now, the general intent was to make the skate park free, and for all intent and purposes, the fees that we will be charging are basically free for the most part. They're so minimal. However, it helps us to defray a minimal amount of the cost of our operations there, and also it allows us to keep a little bit more order with who's in, who's out, getting liability waivers signed, things of that nature. So with that, we would recommend that you approve the Parks Commission's recommendation. And of course, Mr. Meixel is here if you need some additional information. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Council, it's in your materials packet on your yellow folder if you want to take a look at it. What do you feel about the fees recommended by Parks and Recreation Commission?
Mr. Mayor, I would request if what we received in the yellow folder is different than what we were faxed.
Different than faxed? We don't know what you got faxed. It's basically $10 per year for residents, $20 for non-residents, and $5 for non-member.
Right. Other than that, what's in the text is the same.
If it says revised 22A on the bottom, it should be okay, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. What's your thoughts on that fee schedule?
My thought is that I appreciate that this is better than what we looked at last time as far as fees, and I personally feel that this skate park was done for a reason, and the reason was for the residents. And what I don't want to have happen is have the residents suffer the use of this park because of non-residents having a extremely low fee, in my mind, still. A $20 per year, no daily fee use for a non-resident, to me, is way, way, way too low. Or maybe they pay just a daily fee, and the only one that is subject to a per year fee would be a resident, and maybe the way I think would be the proper approach if there's opposition to that is it's real easy to decrease a fee. But it's really hard to increase a fee. I would say, I would sooner start out with the resident fee as is suggested at the $10 per year, and that, bearing in mind that we are trying to gear this park for our residents. These kids have been waiting for years to get in this park. This park is unbelievable, and I really think that the usage of it is going to be high, and it should be our residents that benefit from it, as it should be for all the city facilities of which they pay taxes for. So my thought is that either we have no non-resident membership fee, and they just have a normal daily fee that anyone else who's not a member would be. And at least let's see how that goes. And if that does not work, then we can always come back and revisit the non-membership fee, whatever amount it is, and if we need to increase usage. And if the $5 daily fee becomes a deterrent and we're not getting the best use out of the park that we need, and I know we need to recover some dollars on this, definitely. Tom, I'm getting you money. I'm not.
Hey, I'd have been out of there.
And maybe we can take a part of this fee and use it for an exterminator for the council chambers. But anyway, that's the thought I have on it, and I'm certainly open to any other thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Oden.
Mr. Mayor, what is the charge? I know we discussed this last meeting. I don't remember for the other skate parks. Let's say for our residents, do they have non-resident fees?
All of the other skate parks locally within the Coachella Valley are managed by Coachella Valley Parks and Rec in La Quinta, Indio, and Palm Desert, and they don't distinguish between residents and or non-residents. It's just an annual membership fee of $5 per person per year. That said, however, our park is, I believe, and as Mr. Mills has seen, substantially different. I think the upside to this, or the downside fee-wise, is that you obviously could provide a great benefit to the local kids, which is the intent of the council. The downside to having What is not, in my opinion, an exorbitant fee of $5 a day is just what the kids feel about that. And that's really where your reputation is made or broken, is within the community of skaters, not necessarily the city. But there's no objection as to whether it's a annual membership fee or a daily entry fee from any of the people that I've polled, which has been the local skaters as well as regional skaters.
Well, I certainly appreciate the fact that our young people in our city have waited a long time for this skate park. But I'm sure that during that interim, they have also utilized other skate parks and have enjoyed those amenities as well. We don't have any way of knowing if this, at this point, if this might seem exorbitant to the skaters. I agree with the non-resident thing going away, though. I think that's fine.
If I could be so bold, I think even as Mr. Mills proposes would not be objectionable.
Okay. All right.
So, Scott, what's your opinion? I won't do that to you, don't worry.
Exactly. Thank you. All right.
I will suggest to you the following, that it would be ideal if, in fact, everything we built and did in Palm Springs was free or minimal to our residents, and then the costs are borne by those who come visit us. I mean, that's an ideal situation. I was raised in a small town in New York where the beach is on Long Island. If you had a sticker in your window that said you belonged to the township of Smithtown, you just went right through the gate. It was your beach. But if you didn't have it, if you could get in, you paid to get in. And everyone just understood that. If you wanted to go to the beaches there, you paid for it. And I think the model is that we have certain amenities, and we've always had certain amenities in Palm Springs that have been either superior to, or actually there was no comparison because other cities didn't have them. We had problems years ago where we had Demuth Park as the regional soccer fields for the majority of the Coachella Valley. I mean, it was the place to play soccer. No one had it. The library has dealt with an imbalance, if you will, of users that come from out of town that wear down your carpet, wear down your books, wear down your furniture, and you derive zero financial benefit from it, but you bear the cost to provide a service because you have an open library system. And that's a whole different model, mind you, but I would suggest in this case, we have been trying to build this, and I'm not saying others can't come, whether visitors or kids from neighboring communities, but I would rather go on record by saying it is the citizens of Palm Springs that we serve, and whatever we have should be made available to them at the cheapest rate possible, and there should be definitely a discrepancy between a resident and non-resident. There should be a value of being a resident. We did it on the golf course years ago, and we took a hit for a while, but the reality was demonstrate you're a resident, and here's the benefit. You get to play golf at a much different rate than a non-resident. So the same should hold true here, and I suggest for other amenities that we might have, that if you could even rent this chamber, do residents get a different rent rate here than non-residents? And I don't know that, but this was built by citizens' money from the city of Palm Springs, and it should reflect some asset in residency. So I would go along with Mr. Mills' idea of keeping our residents' membership down. The $10 doesn't bother me. It's sort of just a filing fee more than anything else. But the non-resident shouldn't get the ability to buy it at only twice the rate. Maybe there's a daily charge. And there should be an ability, I think, in the rules, and you may want to go back to your Parks and Rec saying, you know, if there's a lot of kids coming in, the residents' kids come forward. Almost have a resident, non-resident line, that you're not going to have residents wait outside because there's too many kids inside, and they're all from other cities. And our kids wonder, this is our skateboard park. How come we can't get in? There should be some privilege by simply showing that you are a resident, because it's your park. It's your park. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not embarrassed to say it. There should be some privilege to the residents. And how that's shaped up can continue to be evolved and otherwise. Mr. Mills, do you have a suggestion on a non-resident membership or non-resident fee day to day? How do you want to shape that? Is it just the $5 charge?
Yeah, I think it's just the $5 charge, and that's an all-day fee. Scott, they get banded or they get something like that?
Correct. What we intend to do is put, as a member would come in, they'd give us their ID card. We'd retain that. That gives us a bit of authority to kick them out if they misbehave, basically, and then we will ban everyone that goes through the door in response, or through the gate, in response to the mayor's issue of overcrowding. We have a substantially large park. I think we can handle well over 200 kids, if I might, if we get into an issue of overcrowding, I would like to, we would come back and amend the issue or raise the issue with the council at that time. But because we're dealing with so many unknowns here, we're just trying to get off and running at this stage of the game. And we're certain to be dealing with a number of issues down the road. We know that. And we'll be coming back to the commission and the council as needed in the future.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mills.
Another concern I have, Scott, is on the most current report. It says residency in Palm Springs will be established by the participant's address indicated on the waiver and release form. I think we need something a little different than what the address is they put down on the waiver and release form. So is there, for an underage, is that under 18, the parent has to do it? Is there under 20?
It's a parent or legal guardian. And the way you work it with your golf discount card is through a driver's license or a voter registration. Obviously, a minor would have either of those. And we really struggled with how do we prove residency for a parent or legal guardian. And the only way that we can do that at the present time is to take the people on good faith as to what their home address is. Again, I would reiterate, if that becomes a problem for us, we could at least get through 2004, which is what our current proposal is to do, is to issue them. And then if we end up with what we believe a lot of fictitious addresses, then we'll have to address that as we go through the year.
Yeah,
but we really don't know.
I would hope in the same way we look at somebody demonstrating their residency with document forms, however you choose to do that at the golf course, the same kind of mandate is required here. So whatever you got to bring in to say, I'm a resident.
Do it the same way as the golf course.
And I would have to suggest, and this is a legal question, I turn to Mr. Alshire, if someone's going to sign a waiver form, they've got to be an adult. That a minor can't sign a waiver form and be held to it. I mean, I'll turn to the legal. You can't. So some adult has to be there. If someone's over 18, now I don't know how to check valid ID, but someone better demonstrate that this is really an adult and that the driver's license is accurate, and you get it taken care of from a legal standpoint for the waiver, and you verify that this is indeed a legal resident. Mr. Alshire, waivers, please.
Yes, an adult does need to sign for it if they're over 18. Of course, we do permit somebody to come in, sign a form, get it on file, and thereafter it's on file. We would just check the file to make sure it's there.
We're not doing photo IDs, are we?
Yes, we are.
Great. Great. Photo with parent on side? Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Oden.
So that waiver form would be very similar to the scholarship form in terms of the information that's required?
Actually, the waiver form, I don't know if it's attached within your packet,
It is
but it's
not.
an extensive form that the Attorney's Office has drafted for us.
I don't think we have
and
that,
it
but okay.
addresses a parent or a legal guardian.
Okay.
We could add the requirement that they must have a City of Palm Springs address on their ID card, rather than just or add a driver's license.
Okay.
If that's the council's wish. Or a utility bill, if that's what you'd like to do, too.
Are you going to punch holes or stars in a card where a guy has a disciplinary, and if he has 5 stars, he's out?
We'll keep track of them.
That's what he did to Ron's school. He told me that one day. All right, council. You're star player. Yeah, there you go. Star man. All right, so we're looking at a $10 annual fee for residents, and everybody else, visitor, non-resident, pays $5 on a daily basis.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mills and second by Ms. Reller Spurgeon. Any additional comments? I praise the council on taking care of the residents. Let's see if we can do more of this same kind of work for more of our amenities. Let's make sure that these properties are obviously for the good and the benefit of our citizens. Okay? Roll call, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Reller Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye. It's 4-0, deemed unanimous. Item 23 is Collin and Lee, Amendment Number 1, TPA Workers' Compensation.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, to address the ever-increasing costs of our workers' compensation, what we did last year, you approved us to enter into contract with a third-party administrator. It is been a good relationship, and we're moving through the vast numbers of workers' comp claims we have. However, when we began the process with the bid, there was approximately 137 claims, which is what the bidders bid on. About 5 months later, we had an additional 60 claims that had been entered into our system. So there was somewhat of a discrepancy on the claims they are required to handle versus what they're getting paid for. Every year in their contract, every May, what occurs is if claims go up, go down, their price is adjusted accordingly. We pay approximately $800 per claim. But because we, in essence, gave them higher claims than what was in the bid, it was requested that we bring this increase to you now as opposed to May, and then every time after it would be a May timeframe. Now, from one May to the other, if their claims go up 50, 100, 200, it doesn't matter. They can't get anything more until the following May, or it may go down. But because this was not an error, but the numbers have changed, we request that you would approve this increase at this time. Thank you. It's approximately $2,000 per month.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Council, questions?
Yes, I have a question. Sue, have any old claims been closed?
Tail?
I said, have any old claims been closed?
Yes. Many claims have been closed. Some of the claims, will they
Any
ever
more than
grow?
20 years
they're,
old?
they're growing. What this action does tonight is it just really corrects the base that when we turned over the claims.
I understand. I just kind of want to like to know, as on my last night, if it's proved to get any of the claims that we've been carrying for years closed.
The TPA, Mr. Bernard Colin, is here tonight. They are actively working on closing out, as we call the old dogs, or the tail, or the
Tail,
wing, or
yes, the
whatever.
famous tail.
This has been a huge transition.
I'm sure.
Coming from a in-house program for 26 years, taking the program and transitioning out. I anticipate that it will take a full year to fully transition the account.
So write me a letter. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mills.
My staff report, there's something missing.
Yes.
The last, on 23A, it goes, city is willing to adjust the number of open, and then it starts another sentence after that. So is there anything that I missed in there that's real crucial?
Well, basically what you missed is that if we don't do this, the contractor is probably going to cancel the contract.
Okay. I gathered that from the rest of it. Then the means of adjusting this base simply means the initial number that he started with, and the way it was done was a prorate, which I understand. Then as that changes, as cases are settled or added, then his number changes on a month-to-month basis?
No, annually.
Annually. Then the comment on 23A2 says, although the existing contract contains an adjustment provision for dealing with claims above or below base year amount, and I understand that's annually, what is that system in the contract for changing it up or down?
There's an
Is it the same way?
There's an annual adjustment at renewal on May, based on the number of open claims at that time. They're either adjusted up or down. That becomes the new base for the new contract year.
But is that amount determined by the base rate and dividing the number of claims as this increases is set
Yes.
up? Okay, all right, that's all my question was. So essentially, you're establishing this the same way that the provision for dealing with the claims above or below the base year amount, it's being done the same way?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, Sue, when this contract was first let, a number was established, what we thought would be the number of claims. And then a fee annually was established. And in that year's time, it was determined there were actually more claims. But the fee we paid didn't go up.
Exactly.
Now the end of the year comes, we now look at the next year, because we've determined there are more, we're elevating it. So that for a portion of the year, if not the whole year, the workload projected, if not predicted, was substantially lower than the actual. So they did work for us at a, if you will, a reduced rate, based on the fact there are more claims.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, adjusted accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Oden. Okay? With that, council, what's your pleasure?
I'll move the minute order.
Second.
Motion for approval by Mr. Mills, second by Ms. Rella Spurgeon. Any additional comments or questions? Thank you, Sue. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Rose Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye, 4-0 deemed unanimous. Item 24, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is a request to change the allocation positions list. As you know, our Director of Airports is retiring at the end of December. We're in the process of that recruitment now for the new director. And when Mr. Smoot's current secretary retired, Pam, several months ago, that position remained vacant. Anticipating that the new director will need an assistant secretary on board as soon as he or she gets here, this action will put that into place. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is no general funds, this comes out of the airport's enterprise funds. Is that
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay. Council, what's your pleasure?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion for approval by Ms. Rella Spurgeon and second by Mr. Mills. Any additional comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Rose Spurgeon? Mr. Mayor?
Aye, it's 4-0. It's deemed unanimous. Item 25 is an ordinance for second reading and adoption, first introduced on 11/5. This is dealing with the repealing of certain sections, dealing with the TOT collection at group meeting hotels.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Oden?
I will move the ordinance for second reading if the clerk would read the title waiving text.
Thank you. And a second by Ms. Rella Spurgeon. Thank you. Any additional comments or questions? Again, thank you. Hats off to the community for indeed endorsing this in the ballot. This is to the benefit of all of Palm Springs. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First, I'll read the title. This is an ordinance of the City of Palm Springs, California, repealing sections 3.24.030, 035, 036, 037, and 037A of the Palm Springs Municipal Code, and amending the Palm Springs Municipal Code by adding a new section 3.24.030 to impose tax on hotel guests, and adding a new section 3.24.035 to impose tax on group meeting hotel guests.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mills?
Aye.
Mr. Oden?
Aye.
Ms. Rose Spurgeon?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye. It's deemed 4-0 and unanimous. Mr. Reddy, 26 is added legislative items. I believe you have 26A is the approval sale of surplus specialty furniture. Is that correct?
That's correct. We have one. This is...
If I may, I will be abstaining on this. It is my name on this report, so I'll be stepping out with the clerk notice that I am leaving chamber. Mr. Oden?
Okay, staff report, please.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is actually a surplus city property sale. Mr. Kleindienst, our outgoing mayor, has requested to purchase some of the furniture in his office. And what we're asking you to do is allow this. Now, what you have in front of you is the actual schedule. The furniture, which consists of a couch and 2 chairs, after our annual depreciation, which was done in accordance with proper depreciation standards for government agencies, the total depreciation, as you see there, and the cost of that furniture is $9,099.62. The proceeds from that sale will go back into our fund for furniture and equipment, which will help set up the new mayor's office. And so it's recommended that you pass this measure. Thank you.
Good.
I'll move the minute order.
Could I, a matter just occurred to me that I think needs to be looked into before you act on this.
Okay.
So I would recommend this be deferred.
Okay. Added starters.
There are none, sir.
I didn't understand what Mr. Alshire said.
There's a legal issue that he
There's a
thinks.
legal issue that he needs to investigate.
I just didn't physically hear him.
Okay. All right, there are no added starters, reports and requests?
Just keep going.
Okay.
There are none, sir.
City Council reports or requests. Thank you, Mr. Oden. Item 27 is the Treasurer's Investment Report. You have a copy. Council, any questions or comments before it's received and filed? Very good. Seeing none. Any public reports or requests? And again, Mr. Reddy, no staff reports or requests?
That's correct.
I believe the next adjourned meeting is scheduled for November 25th, which is a Tuesday. It will be held at noon at the Convention Center. This is the ceremony of the outgoing council members and the swearing in of the new. If you'd like to join us, I suggest you get there early. We've moved it to that venue because of the anticipated crowd. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be December 3rd, back on your Wednesday night meetings at 7 o'clock. Your next study session is December... You don't have a meeting on the 26th?
No.
No. Your next study session will be on December 10th, again, 7 o'clock. Both the regular schedule and the study session will be preceded by a closed session at 5:30. There will be a joint meeting between the Agua Caliente Band of Kuya Indians and the Palm Springs City Council on December 4th, 5 p.m. This will be hosted at the Convention Center. It is preceded by a closed session at 4 o'clock, again, in the Convention Center. Okay? And any other changes to the schedule will be announced as soon as they are established.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Ellis Spurgeon, this is our last meeting, at least for the time. No telling what the future might hold for you. My past will take me elsewhere, I assure you. I wish to thank the great city of Palm Springs for the privilege of serving, and we'll have many more comments, I'm sure, on the 25th. Any closing comments you'd like to say on your last meeting?
No, I just want to tell the people that I appreciate having served them for the last nearly 12 years. It has been a privilege.
Indeed. It is now 9:27. Seeing no further business before the council, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you and good night.
You couldn't